Hello, everybody. Master Herbalist Valerie Bledsoe here, and it is time to jump into our empowerment session. 20 minutes of basically like Cliff Notes, getting into helping you better understand the unique products that we have with Soul Naturals. And tonight we're going to jump in and start with SolleClear SI. So let's hear here what, let's see, there we go.
Hi, my name is
Miss,
Eric, and I want to tell you my story. I am a person who suffers from severe hay fever pollen allergies. And because I suffer from such bad allergies, my doctor, who is an allergist, recommended I take 6 to 8 Zyrtec a day and Flonase in each nostril in the morning and then again at night. So you can imagine how much effort that was and how much I had to take just to feel like a normal person. That was until I learned about SolleClear SI. SolleClear SI has been an amazing natural product for my health. The most I've ever taken in one day of SolleClear SI is 3 capsules. And this product has changed my life for the better. I can tell you that every month I take it, that my health gets better and better and better. I recommend that you give SolleClear SI a try.
So I love this testimony from Eric because Eric has gone and shared with me so many times the difference maker that SolleClear SI has been for him. And in particular, he dreaded last year's season when the cottonwood trees would send their cotton flying through the air and everything, and he was just amazed at the difference how it was this year after having been on SolleClear. It truly has changed his life for the better. And it's so much so that I remember him sharing that he had a roofer up on his roof that he heard hacking and everything, came out, asked him if he's okay, offered him just 1 or 2 capsules of the SolleClear SI, and the roofer was so impressed that he came back to get some the next day. So this is a product that works, and this is a product that we're talking about tonight. So what are the five key or the key benefits for this formula? Um, we look at immunity. And we kind of get that idea anyway because it says sinus and immune on it. But Suma, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth, really is great at supporting the immune system, respiratory health. You can see that this is a timely formula right now for what a lot of people have been dealing with. There's many herbs that are very clarifying. We knew that anyway because the label is yellow. So it's going to help to work with that respiratory system as it filters. Stress support. As always, we've got adaptogens in our formulas, which means it's going to help the body to be more stress resilient. General well-being. One of the key items for helping a body get over a vulnerability when we have the immune system feeling under attack is to support across the board the general well-being. Because if the body has the nutrients to pull from, it can jump in and feel better faster because it has that foundation already there. And then because there's adaptogens in this formula, believe it or not, it's also going to help support our hormone health as well. Horseradish. And there's several form or plants and in this formula. We're not going to discuss all of them because this is kind of an overview and a highlight. But horseradish, I will tell you, I am a big lover of horseradish. Not everybody is, but this works out convenient for you because it's in a capsule. Um, it is known for these ways of supporting for sinus and immune because that's what the SI stands for on the SolleClear SI. So I'm highlighting some of the strengths it's historically been recognized for when it comes to the sinus immune respiratory. So we're looking at lungs here, asthma, catarrh, or think of that old dried mucus that gets in the linings of the sinuses or in the lungs, coughs, respiratory congestion, sinus problems in general. And horseradish, if you think about it, it kind of is an opener whenever, as in like it makes your sinuses and everything open up whenever you eat it. Now, I say that because growing up, we used to take the horseradish roots, grind it up, and literally when we made a sandwich with our good sprouted whole wheat bread, we would take and slather probably a quarter cup on one side of the bread. So we ate a lot of horseradish. So yes, horseradish is a favorite of mine. Wasabi. Who would have thought wasabi was in this? You know, that hot little pea that people are familiar with that they think of, oh my goodness. Well, it is very impactful and great for supporting the body when it's fighting things such as a bacterial infection. It's going to support the digestion as well. And why would that be important in this type of formula? Well, when the liver gets overwhelmed dealing with the stress of being ill, or the stress that creates the vulnerability to where it can get ill, then digestion gets impacted and the liver is unable to work as well with helping filter out a lot of the toxins. So wasabi coming in and impacting digestion becomes a very good thing. It also is natural support for the respiratory system. And again, that opening, whenever you can cause the lungs to open and breathe in deep, it's going to help that exchange that happens naturally in the lungs. Sinus support, it's historically been um, revered for its ability to help the body and when it's under challenges from flu or pneumonia. And a lot of people have no clue that it's also renowned for its ability to address H. pylori, which is a bacteria that can get out of balance. People often associate it with an ulcerated type system. So when the body gets out of balance, then this bacteria can get out of balance. Stress causes that to happen. This is in the digestive tract. Wasabi can help target that, and then our adaptogens can help deal with the stress that is impacting the body. Now, bilberry, if you notice this picture I got here, is a little bit different than typically what you would see. Well, bilberry has a really kind of neat story out of World War II, where the British fighter pilots they were noticed that they were much more accurate, and they were trying to figure out what made them so unique. And they were really good at night too. And what they found is these pilots were having toast on a daily basis with bilberry jam on it. And when they got and started looking, they found out how all the different ways that bilberry supported vision in general and night vision. So it's kind of a neat kind of aside that helps you understand why bilberry can be beneficial, because it naturally has some of the vitamin A and the things that go for the eyes. But vitamin A is also very good for your immune system. We also see colds, earache, runny nose, a liver stimulant again, and then coughs. All of that from a common little bilberry. Suma. Suma is our big adaptogen in this formula. Suma is a powerful, powerful adaptogen. For me personally, I respond very well for it. I remember whenever Greg was visiting at my house and we were playing with this formula and I had some to test, and I started with just one capsule. Now, I had been running pretty hard, which those of you that know me know that that comes as no surprise. But I had noticed that I was starting to get congestion in my ears, feeling that heaviness in my head, and it just wasn't normal for me. Well, I took one capsule of the Suma, and within an hour, I felt my ears start to clear and everything start to drain out. Or one capsule of the SolleClear SI, which had the Suma in it, and all that started to clear out. Just from the plants and ingredients that we've talked about already that's in this formula, you can understand why that would have started to clear so well. The Suma, being the adaptogen, helps bring the body into balance. Notice I said I had been running hard. Very common for me. I pushed myself. And so helping have that stress resiliency that Suma brought to the table, I believe was a key thing to help me respond as well to it as I did, because I'd already been taking some of those other plants individually, but did not get the results until I had the SolleClear SI. Now, when we look at Suma, we see not only is it an adaptogen, but it has an affinity and it is known for its ability to address viral infections, things like bronchitis, heart support, and even just vitality or just having that energy in general. Now, the reason I felt it was important to put heart support in there too is some people end up, and I was one of those that ended up with inflammation that could go into that pericardial sac around the heart. So when I get pushed hard, then I feel that in that area. So this is a great plant to bring to the table to help support people like me, because Suma also addresses for the heart.
Hi, this is Greg Halliday with Soul Naturals. Today's topic is SolleClear SI, which is an herbal formula, 100% plant-based, that focuses on sinus issues, our immune strength, and more. In fact, because it has a yellow label. It is part of our Clarify product line. And that is something I wanted to mention today, because in addition to all the wonderful support for clear sinuses and a strong immune system, there's an herb I wanted to highlight today that is in the SolleClear blend, which is a second combination of herbs in the formula that helps our body clarify both physically and mentally. And in this particular herb that I wanted to highlight is called mullein. Mullein is a champion for lung health. It is a wonderful combination of saponins, plant compounds that act like soaps and help the body clean and clear out debris, toxins, things that impede the flow of energy and the flow of everything that needs to move in the body for us to be healthy. In the lungs, obviously, we want them clear. And so mullein is a great lung cleaner, but it also is a mucilaginous plant, which means it is soothing and restorative. It creates a sort of a slick gel that's protective and, as I mentioned, healing and soothing. In particular, the lungs. I've used mullein for several decades now, and had such great benefits. Wanted to highlight that for you today. SolleClear SI is wonderful to keep your lungs in prime condition as well.
And we have Greg with us today, and I've asked him to share a little bit. So, Greg, if you would unmute yourself, we would love to hear you for a minute, my friend.
You bet, Valerie. Good to be here, everyone. I wanted to share actually, I don't know if you wanted me to share anything in particular today or just an experience that I was aware of that might be interesting with SolleClear SI.
Well, I had asked Greg, and yes, because we have so many amazing stories that come out of this formula, and that it's always nice to hear the different ways that people are using it and the different types of results that they're getting. So, yes, if you wouldn't mind, I would love to hear another story about SolleClear SI that you've heard.
Okay, there are tons, and I hope I don't repeat them. But here's one that's so if you know Solle founder Lon Hudman, his in-laws were called to do a service assignment for their church community, and they're from northern Utah. They have a ranch. He's got a bunch of horses. They live out in like prime, at least for out here, prime farm country. And so you wouldn't think this would happen to him, but they got called out to Illinois and a very rural part of Illinois. And part of his job out there was to manage all the livestock out in this area. And he and some others were really struggling with all sorts of lung issues and sinus issues, just all the respiratory gunk going on. And this is right about the time that SolleClear SI came out. So Lon sends some out to him. Huge difference. They fall in love. And so out in that area, I guess they were out sort of in some of the rural areas where a lot of Amish were in the area, and they would come in contact with him a lot. And he got talking with several of them about them. Now, this has been probably 8 or 9 years that they've been back, and they still have to order to send out to their Amish friends because the Amish have noticed such a difference for themselves with their lungs and sinuses and everything.
Oh, I love that. And oh, yeah, this to me has become a formula that I can't do without. I just take it on a regular basis. And I was thinking and remembering when you were talking about the mullein that when I was a senior in high school, the end of my senior year, I ended up with walking pneumonia and had it for a couple weeks doing all the herbal stuff. And the plant that ended up making the difference for me, because this was long before we had Solle, was mullein. We had chopped it up and made it into a poultice, put it around my neck. I had this big old thick thing, but the next day my the issues had shifted, and you had that moment where you see like the light in the tunnel and you're like, I'm going to be over this. So mullein, I'm so glad that you highlighted it and shared it. Mullein is a critical part of this formula, as we know all parts are. But thank you so much, Greg.
Betcha.
All right, let's see here. All right, so for our next page, one of the things on our slide, what I want to talk about is fenugreek. A lot of people think of fenugreek for mothers when they're nursing and things like this. But it is really, really powerful when it comes for the lungs and helping to move mucus out of the entire respiratory system and the sinuses, all while also helping to balance blood sugar. It's pretty impressive little plant, and you look at it, I mean, it kind of reminds you of like the clover that you see in the yard. Or at least when I grew up in Missouri, I saw that. But fenugreek is great for lung support, allergies, helping giving expectorant properties. You know, when you need that to move out of your system, lots of times people end up with the gunk and it's so thick that they almost like choke on it and they can't move it. So it does have that ability to allow it to move up and out. It's also mucilaginous. And if we think about when we've got these colds and flus like this, when we have that mucus running down the back of, or in the sinus drainage, it's kind of acidic and it can make the throat raw. So anytime we have a mucilaginous plant, that's going to help to coat areas where there's is irritation. But then we also have astringent properties because when things get irritated and inflamed, they also swell. So I love that this brings so many different aspects to our journey for fighting colds and flu. So fenugreek, another kind of an unsung hero that's in this plant. Now, just as a reminder, for those of you that are new, make certain that you put in the chat your email address because I will be sending you tomorrow morning what we call our shareables. One will be the bit of information that Greg shared on the product, and the other will be this breakdown of what I call the crud buster. I have probably done this daily now for 5 years. Because I started right after we got the NeuroEM. I do this every morning. I've never been a coffee drinker, but this is my go-to first thing in the morning. And I take a packet of Cinnamate. A lot of people do it with Renew. That's why I put either or in there. I open up 2 capsules of SolleClear SI. I open up 2 capsules of our NeuroEM, and then 1 scoop of our Infatuate, because having good fats helps the body to challenge and work through colds and flu. And then I pour 8 ounces of boiling water over it, stir it up, and that is my warm fuzzy in the morning. That also is my proactive support for my immune system and for stress resiliency. This is how I start the day off every single morning, so much so that everywhere I travel, I make up little packets of it so I can to have it no matter where I am. And again, this slide will be one of the things that I send out in the shareable. So again, make certain you've got your email address in the chat. So I like to break down our formulas and pull some of the nutritional profile highlights off of the formula. This is not all inclusive. These are also, like I said, it's not an exhaustive list, but these are natural occurring items that are in the plants that we use. And I wanted to pull out ones in particular that would help you to understand why this formula worked as well as it did. When you look at these plants, you see vitamin A highlighted multiple times. Again, great for the immune system. Vitamin C, we see different forms of B vitamins. When we look at sumaroot, the B vitamin there with the pantothenic acid, it's in that family. That was one of the ones that before Solle that I used to have to take that because my blood sugar and stress levels, everything would shift so much that my hands would just shake. And pantothenic acid was how I addressed it through bee pollen. I don't have that problem now as a result of the Solle formulas. And I'm getting my pantothenic acid every single day. You see in here, we've got things like chromium, again, helping blood sugar. We've got zinc in there multiple times. Our vitamin C, our quercetin is very high antioxidant properties. All of these, when you look at it and understand what they're doing, you're kind of looking and going, well, this is kind of a no-brainer. We can tell hands down why this formula is so impactful and what it is. And the neat thing is we're only covering the sinus and immune aspects of it. This formula, at some point, I'll make one to talk about the other benefits and the ways that we can use the SolleClear SI as well. And to wrap up our little quick 20-minute journey into SolleClear SI, I always like to have a quote. This one I thought was very apropos. Health is a state of complete harmony of the body, mind, and spirit. When one is free from the physical disabilities and mental distractions, the gates of the soul open. And the way I interpret that is the more that we support our general foundation and are proactive with our health, the better we feel mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, across the board. And our soul formulas are all designed to help support that. Thank you for everyone joining us tonight. And I look forward to seeing you again. I'm trying to do these on the first and third Mondays of the month as we cover all this.